My name is Eric Duffy, CEO of Pathgather, and we are a learning experience platform for enterprises. And essentially, we help employees learn, acquire new skills as fast as the world around them changes. And this, of course, is very important because the world is changing faster and faster. We're probably going to hear a lot about that at this conference. And what's important for enterprise learning and development, I don't know how many people here are familiar with the space, but it hasn't always been the most strategic of departments within organizations, or the most respected necessarily. And the fact that things are changing faster and faster means that learning and development, this is their moment. It is the solution to companies staying current as times change. And executives recognize this. 90% think that they're going to be disrupted in some period of time. And just 11% think that they have the right skills to do something about that. Obviously, you can hire some people, but you're going to have to build some talent internally. That's the good news. The bad news is that only 8% of CEOs think that L&D is providing a lot of value, that they can articulate what that is, which is not great. And the NPS is bad, really bad. And it really hasn't gotten better over time. Of course, there's a big opportunity here. The thing is, traditional learning and development approaches are not going to cut it. The only way to kind of seize this opportunity for L&D to be valuable and to provide value to the organization is to disrupt itself, to do things very, very differently. And this is what we've done with some of our customers. So what you're going to see here is a lot of large organizations that almost all of them are facing some kind of big disruption. So Walmart obviously has to compete with Amazon. HP is becoming a 3D printing company. Visa is moving into digital payments. Capital One wants to compete with Google for tech talent. All of these companies realize they have to become technology organizations, and part of that means you have to provide learning and development opportunities to your employees. So what does it mean to provide a new approach, and what does Pathgather do about that? Three big kind of core concepts here. One is that the learning management system is going to continue to exist, but it is just one piece of a much larger learning ecosystem. And learning exists everywhere. Obviously, YouTube, blog posts, TED Talks. It's in your SharePoint, cloud storage, on and on and on. It's everywhere, and it can't all be fit into the LMS. So that's really important, number one. Number two is that L&D has been used to creating content themselves as part of kind of how they've seen their job description. But it's not a viable approach anymore. Obviously, they can't be experts in all of the different skill sets that comprise their organization. You have to find some other way to do it, and what we advocate very strongly is that you empower your employees to curate for one another. And the last one is that it's not a viable approach to take content and kind of push it down to employees because you're not going to know who to get it to. You're not going to know when they want to learn something. So you have to find an automated, personalized approach. So that is what we advocate. Now, how does it work? So to touch on the three concepts, so in terms of unification, what we do is essentially integrate with your LMS, of course, but also integrate with your content management systems and your cloud storage, with third-party content vendors like Lynda, Pluralsight, whatever you use as an organization, and provide a single point of access to all this learning. So your employees just go to one place, do a search for JavaScript, and then they'll find all these courses across all these different destinations. This is essential. It's kind of table stakes. Not a lot of companies are still doing it, but if you're not doing that, you're going to provide a terrible experience to your employees, and they're not going to come back, which is why you see a 3 to 5% monthly active user rate for LMS is not great. So that's number one. Number two is that L&D, the average ratio is one L&D employee to 1,000 employees. And obviously, one person can't be an expert in the skill sets of 1,000 people, which themselves are changing constantly, and the content is changing constantly. It's literally an impossible task for them to try and curate that for everybody. So what we enable our customers to do is the moment we start implementing with them, we say, okay, go find your subject matter experts who are almost certainly outside of L&D, show them what this tool can do, enable them to take the things that they're probably already doing via email and create paths like curate content for one another and provide this to your coworkers, which is really, really important. And the vast majority of learning that happens in Pathgather happens through learning paths like that. And the last part is that in order to provide a really personalized experience, you need to understand more about who your employees are, what are their skills, and what does the organization need? How is that changing over time? And this requires deep integrations into many, many different parts of your talent ecosystem. It includes your HRS, your ATS, surveys, assessments. All of these different tools are very disconnected currently, but they all have data about, again, who your employees are, what your company needs. And our approach is to essentially understand this and then get the right content to the right people at the right time based upon where they can grow their career within your organization. Yeah, that's the big idea. Thanks.